Pseudopographa are falsely attributed works, texts whose claimed author is not the true author, or works whose real author attributed it to a figure of the past.
What I'd like to put in here is that they are not whatever they are saying, because once you understand what Christ and Jesus is, you will actually understand what is happening in these books. Once you understand the place of the stars as above so below, then you will come to understand our real Christianity. And I'm starting to get bitter, manze, but this is not supposed to be a bitter video. It's just meant for you to think outside the box.
Like fan fiction. Pseudepigrapha are considered non-canonical by most other Christian traditions. The books that were removed or rejected were ones that scribes and theologians of the time already knew were not divinely inspired. Many people before and after Jesus wrote these books with evil intentions, and I understand their reasons for removal. Take, for example, if someone today released a book and said Kobe Bryant isn't a great athlete, the book would be a great failure, and the author would receive lots of backlash because we know that is false. But give that book 500 years, and when someone in that timeline sees that book, people in that era could start to think that Kobe Bryant do actually suck.
You cannot compare Kobe Bryant to Jesus, because Kobe Bryant never taught us how he played. Jesus actually taught us what he was doing. Jesus taught the mystical behind his magic or his miracles. He actually taught it. So it is this knowledge that is being hidden again. So you cannot come here and compare Kobe Bryant to Jesus. No way, no fucking way, man.
So, to prevent such lies from spreading into the future, we root it out now. Now, even the Ethiopian Bible has two canons, the broader and narrow canon. But before we go into it, first let me define what a canon is. A canon is a generally accepted law, rule, principle, or criterion by which something is judged.
And from this definition, we come to realize that there is no difference between the government and the Bible, because they both have laws and ni kama constitution. This is the constitution of the religious world, not the spiritual world. This is the constitution of the religious world. The question to you, my listener, is which constitution are you following?
So with that in mind, it's canon for a phone to have one screen, a country, one president, this channel, more subscribers. The broader and famous canon has 81 books. In this popular version, we have Enoch, the Jubilees, the 3 books by Maccabees, Epistle to Clement, 4 books of Synodos, and a whole lot more. This is the one the video is mostly about, and the one that is a bit famous. The narrow canon, on the other hand, was overseen by Emperor Haile Selassie. He created the narrow version and publicly proclaimed that this was the official and completed version of the Ethiopian Bible. The reason for this, unfortunately, I can't say because it might cause a misunderstanding and a war in the comment section, but all I will say is look him up on the internet and do your research and see the truth for yourself. The narrow canon version doesn't have some scriptures that are found in the broader version. It just has 72 books in it. While the broader canon has everything the narrow canon has and more, the broader canon has not been reprinted since the early 20th century. So already you can see that even within itself there were already controversies, and having 2 different versions could also contribute to it not being accepted.
Another thing, it is not the only Bible that had existed in the whole world. Because if you think about it, there is also 2 versions of the Bible in the Christian world. There is this Bible and Catholics follow, and there is this other Bible and everyone else is following, that has been stripped of a few books. So we are still in the same issue. It's just that, wait, something has come to my mind. What if this is just a way that we have always been programmed since the beginning? Because I have said this is always a transition of power from one culture or one side of the hemisphere of this world to the next? What if it is always meant to be like that, so that people can go and find out for themselves? Because we actually get saved by walking the way, not by going and listening to other people. So think too.
The Ethiopian canon is a great way to see how the Bible has changed over time. Contrary to popular belief, the Bible isn't just one book. It's more of a collection of texts and experiences written over many years. And that's where the problem kinda lies. Different religious groups, including the verified or accepted ones, have a long history of excluding or including different texts or copies based on different theological/personal grounds. For example, the Bible we know today was mostly written in the 4th and 5th centuries AD. By that time, Christianity in Ethiopia had already begun to differ from Christianity in Europe and the surrounding area of the Mediterranean, and till date, the difference keeps getting wider. The Ethiopian Bible has a lot of similarities with the Catholic and Orthodox Bibles, although it does have a few extra Old Testament books. These were probably written in the last few hundred years BC, which is late in the time of the Old Testament books, but before the New Testament began. Additional books were added to the end of the New Testament after the rest of it was written. These books especially talk about the history and structure of the Ethiopian Church. Another reason for the Ethiopian Bible being rejected could be because of the language it is written in. The Ethiopian Bible was written in Ge'ez, making it difficult for non-speakers to access.
How are you going to reject a Bible because of what it is written in? You just translate, Bana. Because that's what you have done with the other ones. You have translated Hebrew to Latin, then to English. Then translate Giza to whatever, then to English. That's not a valid reason to ban it.
Plus, the lack of translations and unique practices of the Ethiopian Bible have contributed to its relative obscurity outside of Ethiopia. The third reason is more controversial and is because of politics. Power in politics was what the Roman emperor cared about during the early days of Christianity, not spiritual growth. So, any scrolls that didn't fit with their preferred story were left out. In fact, the Bishop of Rome told the priests to destroy the scrolls that weren't in the Bible. But the priests were smart and hid many of them in vats that were found near the Dead Sea in the 1940s, which would explain the differences between both Bibles, as one version tend to have a quote-unquote complete version of the Bible and the other version have what man deemed to be all right. But in recent years, people have become more interested in the Ethiopian Bible, trying to find out what makes it special and the truth it holds. The Ethiopian churches have also worked to make it easier for more people to read by translating it into more languages and doing academic studies on it.
I'm just going to end this video there, and I want you to think about it. Take your life in your own hands, Bana. Go look for your own spirituality. I know it's going to be tough, but it's good to research than to sit there and listen to someone. I'm so bitter about this because every time I go to the churches or I just pass by a church, and the method with which I hear them preaching is a method that drains someone. It's not a method that will uplift you. In comparison to if you listen with your own ears and see with your own eyes, then you are going to speak with your own words.